Now I will invite the star Qazi Fazli Azeem. Qazi Fazli Azeem is a South Asian self-advocate और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि ऑटिज्म के साथ अगर कोई MIT पहुंचता है और वहाँ से डिग्री लेकर आता है फुल ब्राइट स्कॉलरशिप में, तो हम सबको उसको बहुत सारी तालियों की गूंज में स्टेज पर बुलाना चाहिए।
I've been doing this now, I guess, for 18 years, since 2006. Self-advocacy awareness for people on the autism spectrum and neurodiversity, not just in Pakistan, but the entire region, South region. And it was Roxana who basically connected me to all those great people out there. It changed my life, and I hope that it changes the life of many more people in our country. So you know who I am. You've seen me on television, TV shows. You've seen me on in schools, training centers. That's KVTC right there. It's about a couple of years ago. And I've gone training special educators, conferences, presentations, and of course organizations in South Asian countries, India, Bangladesh, twice, 4 times. But what your child cannot do, you plan with what your child can do, right? What is the child's interests, abilities, what do they enjoy doing, can you turn that into a hobby and of course into a career. So my sister is 9 years older than me. I used to read her comic books when I was very young, and very soon I was copying all the drawings in the comic books on paper. This led to an interest in art and then eventually in design, in higher education. So there's another famous saying, if you know one person in the spectrum, then you know one person in the spectrum. There's a lot of variation as a consequence of neuroplasticity. So every person has unique accommodations that they need, and that's why the IAP is relevant, of course. And if every person is unique, then how do you then prepare them for job coaching? This thing comes through exposing your child to different options. So if you don't show your child what is possible, they'll never absorb it. The problem with the amygdala, 20% larger, is because of hyper stimulation, sensory overload. They maintain lack of eye contact. As a consequence, their database of information is not being developed as they're growing up. They're not observing other children. They're not observing the social context, the social learning environment. And as a consequence, these are a couple of steps that Temple writes in her books now. Is the Scratch programming language and also Lego Minds for Robotics. And what happened is I was lucky to study under Mitch Resnick, who created Scratch and created Lego Minds for Robotics. This is the Lego professor, Lego funds him, and all his research, that's me about 11 years ago now, in the media lab. And what we found out is that surprisingly, a lot of people who were using this technology were not just, of course, neurotypical children, but children on the spectrum, children with SEN, special needs, and the way they do it, right? So Calculate worked on social stories, and they recontextualize those stories with character names, so that when you're animating something, you're animating your own face, the child's face. You're animating the child's friend. You can point out and say, that's me in the story. So the children actually are taught then to animate and create things based on their own interests, their own stories, their own friends, their own lives. So it becomes hyper-personal, it fuels their motivation, it encourages them to experiment and learn. So children were exposed to, because when you have a tablet device or a phone, that device could be a device to consume things, right? But it can also be a device to learn and experiment with information and then create something. So there's a difference between consumption and creation. When you consume, it's one way, it's entertainment. When you're creating things that are relevant to you, and even children as young as 5 years old they work with them and they learn. It's pretty much like Lego, just drag and drop these things, just show them a formula. Kids pick up very fast, and it's been proven. So that leads to, what does this lead to? This leads to careers in animation, it leads to career in game design, it leads to creating your own project, relevant learning, and acceptance of technology more from the production or creation or experimentation or learning point of view, as opposed to just like watching a video online, right?